So now our next team will be Team 48,桃园阳明High School. Your topic is going to be the tourism gem in Asia Pacific. Please welcome them.
Hello everyone, I'm Team 48. Today, my topic is the tourism gem in Asia Pacific. Imagine you're looking at a map and you just found Australia. It is at the bottom of the map, the edge of the world. And you may think that Australia is in a remote corner of the planet. You then look at the Earth, staring at the rotating sphere. An idea bumped into your mind. No country is in a corner because we can never define where the center is. However, when it comes to tourism, I do believe Australia is the center of the world. First of all, let's take a look at the market. In this section, I will concentrate on the target market, goals, and competitors of Australian tourism. The target market is defined as potential tourists and will be divided into two segments. These are the countries in the first part. According to the United Nations, they are the top countries that visited Australia in the prior year. The data also shows that these countries are considerable to Australian tourism. These are the countries in the second part. Targeting specifically in these countries shows the ambition of broadening the target market in tourism, because these are the countries that have the most expenditure in traveling. So, what about the goal? There are 8 million people on Earth. 975 million of them are eager to have a trip around the world. And now we're not going to tell that much. We just want to attract 1.2% of them. The goal is believed to help Australia recover from the pandemic. They will attract over 15 million visitors in the year 2030, which is a 200% growth to 2022. As for the income, it is believed to have over 55 billion US dollars in tourism, which is a 270% growth in 8 years. It is not surprising that Australia has such a potential in tourism. From 2008 to the pandemic, both arrivals and spendings increased dramatically in Australia, and that motivates us to dream big. The next part is about the competitors. As you can see, these countries have the higher ranking than Australia. They could be mentors, well, they could also be threats to the Australian tourism. They could encourage tourists to visit through the Asia Pacific area, which includes Australia. Next, let's take a look at the company. In this part, we will look at the vision, history, and strategy of Australian tourism. Our company, Tourism Australia, has a core principle of making Australia the most desirable and memorable destination on Earth. This not only underpins everything in Tourism Australia, but also makes us become better and better. Its predecessor, Australian Tourist Commission, was established in 1967 with the wish of maintaining a strength in global tourism and to provide a sustainable tourism environment. It was then established in 2004 and carried forward the former value. In 2011, with the release of 2020 Tourism Industry Growth Potential, a complete plan was set up. Finally, in 2020, it reached the goal of doubling overnight expenditures of more than 115 billion US dollars. This is not just a huge achievement. This also demonstrates our company's expertise in advertising and the ability to introduce Australia to the world. Next, we will talk about the strategy. It consists of product, price, place, and promotion. The first one is the product. It includes customer-oriented trips and Australia concept. Taking hot air balloons in Brisbane, visiting Blue Mountains in Katoomba, or even attending a concert in Sydney Opera House. A customer-oriented trips can definitely create a wonderful and unique holiday for you. And we do believe with the fascinating Australia concept, it is a trip that fits your hobbies and makes you remember the beauty of Australia. Then the next one is the price. Here, I will offer coupons to visitors when they visit in local shops. By doing so, we can have more discounts and let them to shop in these places. Or we can also give friendly visa policies. With this policy, more tourists may be welcomed to tourism to Australia by giving them some tax reduction. The next part is the place. Whether it is a virtual channel or an online channel, it can help Australia to reach more people. By having these places, we can tell the world that Australia is the best place for tourism. The last part is about the promotion. Each of the advertisements and endorsements have their own way to promote Australia in the world. Painted aircrafts could be a spotlight in the airport. Social media could spread the information around the world without time limits. Image advertising can also be one way to strengthen the impression. And also, we can work with KOL, athletes, and movie stars. By doing so, we can introduce Australia to the world. The next part is about the campaign. Here, we will seek the aim and the action. Our goal is to promote Australia into one of the strongest countries in tourism in the world, and to provide a sustainable pattern to introduce Australia or even invite more tourists. It could be a step-by-step instruction, but it could also become a cycle and being influenced by each other. So, what are they? The first step is called the light. The core principle is to get more attention to Australia. The second is beacon. Making potential tourists start on their journey is the goal of beacon. The third one is path. Providing a nice traveling experience is the goal of path. And the last one, photo. What we want to create is a second visit or recommendations to friends and families. 4 steps: light, beacon, path, and photo. And believe me, they're not just icons. They are the future of Australian tourism. The first one is called the light. We want to create Australia's region impression in 3 ways. The first one is to create impressions through brands overseas, through domestic industries. As you can see, Germany and USA both create their impression. So what can Australia do? Australia also have their domestic industries like UGG Australia, Canva, and Woolworth. Woolworth dominates the grocery market in Australia, and it symbolizes the regular life of Australians. UGG Australia is another sheepskin footwear manufacturer with 100% Australian-made goods. Canva is another free-to-use online graphic design tools. These companies not only demonstrate that Australia has the ability to establish global companies, but also gives us a chance to introduce Australia by these domestic industries. And we can also set up some tourism factory, like collaborating with UGG Australia and introduce your people how did they make those boots. And the second one is by collaborating with brands overseas. As you can see, this is the most popular countries for film sets. And actually, Australia is already doing a great job. It's not an easy thing to be in the world top 10. However, there is still a gap between Australia and the other countries. So what can we do? Tax reduction. Let's take France, which is about 5 times more than Australia, for example. It has higher tax rebate and a more flexible rule. What Australia can do is to higher the tax rebate and to set up a more friendly rule. By doing so, we can attract more brands overseas and collaborating with them and create a strong impression on foreigners. And by collaborating between governments, companies overseas, and the locals, we can definitely create impressions. The third one is to collaborate with celebrities. This is a graph about the collaboration between Roger Federer and Switzerland. Many people may wonder, does it work? Let's take a look. These are some of the videos that have the highest views, and they are all the videos that collaborate between the government and the stars. And since Switzerland can do it, I believe that Australia can also do it. The second step is called beacon. We want the potential tourists to start on their journey. These are some of the existing activities that hold up in Australia. By bid for holding up more activities or endorsements or even some concerts, we can attract more visitors to come to Australia. And there are not just some rare examples. Australia is already being better and better. And as you can see, massive arrivals and impressive benefits. By doing so, Australia is ready to achieve a better document in tourism. And the next one is to hold up their own events. Cairns and Munich are two of the experts in this area, and Australia can also do it. The next one is to offer transportation passes. Some people, they don't start their journey just because they think their lack of preparation. However, one transportation passes can solve all of the problems. It can solve your problems in transportation, and also a well-organized trip and a variety of tickets is provided. And the next one is to collaborate with worldwide traveling scheme. Australia boasts of having a long coastline and some natural harbors like Port Jackson. It is one of the largest and best ports in the world. However, none of the ports in Australia is in the world top 100 most busiest ports. Why? I think that's because they don't have collaboration between the traveling schemes. With some collaboration between the schemes, the visitors can come to Australia and enjoy the beauty of the coast. And also, this is another example. Australia haven't joined Michelin Guide yet. By joining this guide, Australia best hotels and restaurants will be discovered in the stage of the internationals. And the next step is called the path. What we want to create is a nice traveling experience. We can give the tourists some specific topics of maps. And since the maps is free, easy to read, and have different language versions, the visitors can easily find some significant informations. And also, some coupons mentioned above can be placed in the maps or digitalized into QR codes or text. The last step is photo. It is memory to the tourists. What we want to create is a second visit or recommendations to friends and families. We can create a seasonal trip scheme so visitors won't go bored in Australia, such as we can hold up the largest flower festival in the Southern Hemisphere And we can also invite them to visit the Great Barrier Reef. And in the fall, they can visit the world hops food and wine events. Or even in the winter, they can enjoy the symbol of culture. Also, another way is to aim for the key demands. We can provide expertise packaging service for souvenirs or Ziploc bags for countries in the humid places because it's harder to preserve food. So overall, what I wanted to say is that it is not easy to reach the goal, and it is not an easy thing to promote their tourism in a short period of time. By guiding tourists of flights and setting a role in beacon, offering a well-organized path and taking photos full of memories. It is never an easy thing to broaden its market, but I do believe in 2030, Australia can reach its goal of more than 15 million visitors. And that's all. Thank you.
Any questions from our judges?
Thank you for this really fantastic presentation. I've been wondering that this all sounds like really good and really well planned. What's your target cooperators?
You mean
Your target cooperators? Because to reach your goal, you need a lot of cooperators.
Yeah.
And what's your main target cooperator to reach this goal?
I think it is important to work with the locals because, like, if we want to develop the impressions, then we have to work with some artists and they can create some icons for Australia. And also the markets mentioned above. If they sell some products that can tell everyone that it is just Australia, and that would be nice because working with the locals is one of the most easiest way for Australia. It's not like brand overseas and they have to maybe work more difficult. So I think the locals will be the best companion.
Okay, so firstly, yeah, very, very confident delivery. Well done, especially on your own. So it's very brave to present on your own. So my question is about, Australia is quite a popular tourist destination already. How would you summarize your unique selling points? How would your business be different to other businesses?
You mean comparing to other countries?
Comparing to other businesses trying to attract tourists to Australia.
Can you have a deeper explanation? Sorry.
So your business is about attracting people to go to Australia, is that correct?
Yes.
What makes your business different to other businesses doing the same thing?
It is a hard question, but what I would like to say is that the major difference is about the whole structure, because maybe other plans is like they just want to attract visitors and come to their country to purchase things in Australia, but this one values the plan of creating a pattern to create a sustainable environment for tourism. And what I want to create is this one won't work. I should say this one it doesn't work maybe like in 5 years, 10 years. It's a plan that works in maybe 20 years, 50 years, and 100 years. And maybe 100 years later, and you go to Australia and you see what a country has become, and you find that it is just a plan. So that's what I want to create, because I don't want tourism to become something bad for Australia. I want the environment to be sustainable and it continually to attract more people to Australia because it is just so beautiful.
Okay, thank you very much.
Well, thank you once again for a fantastic presentation. I learned a lot. I wasn't aware of the brands that you mentioned, that they were linked to Australia, so that was really good. The one question I have is, you mentioned within your marketing campaign, the idea of use of athletes and movie stars. You also said KOL. What does KOL mean?
It's like influencers, like YouTubers or stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay, no, that makes sense. So thank you very much for that.
Why you pick Australia? I always ask this question, like how you pick the countries, because it's interesting how students, when they decide their topic and when they decide which country they want to talk more. So I'm curious about it.
When I was trying to find a country, and it is actually just like the first part. Like I took a map and I want to find some country in the remote corner because it may symbolize that they don't develop the tourism that good. And I just found one country and it's called Australia. And I was shocked because like I have been to Australia for a short period of time and I think the sceneries are beautiful and people are nice, but when I look at the data, I'm just shocked that Australia doesn't have a good result in tourism. Like Thailand, Malaysia, Japan, these countries have a better result. And why not Australia? So in this occasion, I decided to use Australia as one of the example because I want to help them and express how I think about Australia. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. That is very courageous and wonderful presentation.